Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, I'm Ebony and I am back with another pattern review for you guys. But before we get started on that, I wanted to go ahead and do our giveaway winner for last week's video. As a refresher, I was giving away this McCall's M8182, which is this Mrs. Corset's pattern. And so last week I asked you guys to let me know what your most difficult or complicated pattern you've ever made was, or any type of project that you made where it challenged you. And so I have a couple entries to shuffle around. And so we're going to move to our wheel of names and choose our winner for last week's video. Okay, so we are at the wheel. So we had 5 entries. What I'm going to do is just shuffle it one time, and then we will go ahead and spin to see who our winner is. Okay, so it looks like Lady Angel Heart 25 is our winner. Congrats to you. Make sure that you send me your information. I'll have my information in the description box. So be sure to send me an email of where we can send your pattern. Congratulations. All right, you guys, let's get into the pattern review. So I made McCall's M8437, which is this pattern here. This is Mrs. Overalls, and this is a Brandy Joan pattern as well. This pattern calls for your wovens, of course, and for notions, you need rivets, heavy-duty jean snaps, overall buttons and buckles, and the size range for this pattern is from a size 6 to a size 24. This pattern is rated as average, and we'll get into whether I agree if this pattern should be rated as average a little bit later in the video. This is going to be your line drawings. I was really drawn to this pattern because of the razorback. And I actually didn't make this pattern for myself. I made this pattern for my sister. So throughout the video, you'll see different pictures up of her wearing the outfit as well. This was an outfit that I mentioned I wanted to make outfits for myself and for my sister. We were both going to see Beyonce in Vegas. And so she actually wore these overalls to the concert. So we'll be sharing pictures of that as well. So again, this pattern calls for wovens. I decided to use a denim. I'm calling it like a floral denim that I got from Hobby Lobby on sale a while back. I'm not sure what ounce it is. If I had to guess, maybe 7 ounce. But this is what that looks like. So it's just, a denim. And again, I got this from Hobby Lobby. It is not a stretch denim. It has absolutely no stretch, which was a challenge for me because I typically sew with knits. And so this pattern definitely got me out of my comfort zone. A couple things that I do want to share about this pattern is I made this in a size 10. Again, this was made for my little sister. And so after taking her measurements, we kind of decided that we would go with the size 10 based off of her hip measurement. If you look at the pattern envelope, it looked like it fit a little baggy on Brandy Joan. And so I did watch her sew along. She has a sew along for this pattern as well. She didn't say what size she made, but after making this pattern, I'm assuming that she just sized up because the pattern on my sister, it fit perfect. She had like maybe a half an inch of ease in the hips. But we were kind of going for like this oversized look, or I guess relaxed fit look that Brandy Joan has on the cover. And so one little tip that I would give if you're planning to make this is to maybe size up or measure your pattern pieces, or maybe even make a mock-up. We waited until the last minute to sew this pattern up, so I didn't have a chance to make a mock-up for my sister, but the pattern overall fit her nicely and it turned out just fine. So that's just something that I thought that I would share as well. One modification that I would like to note is I did end up adding some length to the pants. I'm not sure if she took any pictures with the pants at the full length. What she ended up doing was tucking the pants legs into her boots. But because she decided to wear boots, we could have benefited from having a little more length added to each leg just because her boots did have a slight heel on them. But overall, the length ended up being perfectly fine. And like I said, she ended up tucking the pants legs in for the concert. So that was fine, but that is something that I would note. Like if you are planning to make this pattern for yourself and you have longer legs, definitely add some length to your pattern. So this pattern is rated as average, and I guess I agree with that pattern rating. I definitely don't think that this pattern is beginner friendly. This is one of the more challenging patterns that I have ever made. Um, and I don't think it was necessarily the instructions. And also, there is a sew along for this pattern. Brandy Joan, the designer, she recorded a sew along and it is up on YouTube. And I did have to refer to that sew along several times throughout the process. The only thing is, typically, at least with me, I like to follow the instructions, and then if I have any questions or if I'm confused on something, then I go look at the sew along. And so I did that in this case. There was an instruction that confused me, mainly the part of the instructions where we're attaching the bottom to the top as like one piece. And those instructions were just super confusing to me. And so I went to go look at her sew along for it, and it didn't seem like she was following the instructions like in the pattern. It seemed like she was doing her own like methods, which is fine. Like I know a lot of designers do that as well. So that part kind of confused me a little bit. So there was a lot of cases where I kind of just had to trust my gut and just kind of like, see the process through, trust the process, and just, as long as the outfit came out wearable, then I was happy with that. Um, there was an there was a step where you attach the back, like the straps, and I don't think she followed the pattern instructions. I think she did her own method with that as well. And so that kind of confused me a little bit. And also in the sew along, she used a white fabric. And so a lot of the times it was kind of hard to see like exactly what she was doing. So during a lot of this process, I kind of just had to like lock in and just trust myself, trust my skills, take my time, do some basting stitches before I did permanent stitches just to make sure that everything is attaching properly. I don't have the overalls with me to show you anything up close, but the inside does not look as good as the outside. I'm going to be honest with you guys. And that's just when it came to attaching the top to the bottom. So like the bib to the lower half or the pants, that kind of tripped me up a little bit. Everything was going great until it came time to join the two pieces together. So do with that information what you will. It's no shade to the designer, of course. I love Brandy Joan and I own a bunch of her patterns, but the process just wasn't the easiest for me. And I consider myself an advanced beginner. So I kind of knew that this project would challenge me, but this was a very challenging project. And if you're a beginner, I don't want to make you feel like you can't make this pattern, but definitely take your time and don't try and rush through it. Just kind of enjoy the process and just, go with the flow of everything because this pattern definitely challenged me. Now, this is my first time making overalls, so I did have to, or my sister rather, did have to order all of the supplies for everything. And so, with this being my first time, I kind of just had to rely on the internet to tell me what type of materials I needed, basically. So, we bought everything that the pattern called for. I will say that the only thing that I did not use, or I guess two things that I did not use as far as notions that the pattern said that I should use, were the rivets and the jean snaps. We ordered some snaps from Amazon, but you kind of get what you pay for when you order things from Amazon and there's no reviews and the price is really cheap. So we ordered them and they didn't come with any instructions. And then I tried to look up like different tutorials on how to attach metal snaps here on YouTube. And it just wasn't working out for me. And due to the time constraint, I just decided to just add buttons to her overalls along the side, or the hip rather, and it turned out just fine. The rivets, I'm going to be honest, I didn't even attempt to add those because I was kind of over this project. Literally adding or attaching the top to the bottom took me like 2.5 days. And at that point, I'm like, I just need to get these to be wearable. We don't have to worry about aesthetics right now. So I still have the rivets in a bag. And one day, whenever I build up the courage to make my own jeans, I'll have those in my stash and I can actually make a pair of jeans. So didn't use the rivets. Um, let's see, I'm looking in my sewing journal right now to see if there's any notes. So there's a section in here called What Went Well. So to me, what went well was the bib construction. The instructions of that were great. It has like a pleated pocket in the front that came out great. The pockets on the back came out great, the side pockets. And I think a lot of the construction, as far as like for the bottoms, I have a lot of experience with making pants. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you guys know that I love making pants, and I went through months of just making slacks and work pants. For my job. And so I think that experience helped me out a lot. I was able to easily make the slant pockets. I was able to make the back pockets. These pockets may be the best pockets, or yeah, they may be the best patch pockets I've made so far. They look really clean. Um, this pattern had a lot of top stitching, and I did do the top stitching. I didn't do a contrasting thread. I kind of just kept it similar to the denim. But I still like how it turned out. Let's see, what was difficult. So, like I said, attaching the top to the bottom was a pain just because the instructions weren't very clear. And then when I went to go watch her sew along, she was doing a different method, or she was doing the same method, but I couldn't really tell what was the right side and what was the wrong side because she used a white, I think it was like a linen that she used to sew up her version of the overall. So it was just a really difficult experience for me. And plus, the concert was coming up, and I'm like, I have to get these done. So it was kind of like, I got to get it done. I don't have time to like just dwell. I had to figure it out and like make it work. And so that was a little difficult. The unclear instructions, as far as like the pattern instructions are called. And yeah, like I said, the fabric used in the sew along. I really wish that she used a denim that had a wrong side and a right side so that we could easily see like her markings and how she was attaching everything, because it did kind of confuse me a little bit. And I had to rewatch a lot of the instructions just to kind of see what I needed to do and then kind of adapt my own instructions in the end. Now, will I make this pattern again? Probably not. For one, it's not in my size. Again, I made this for my sister and I made it in a size 10, and the envelope that I have goes up to a 14. So this isn't in my size range. Plus, I mean, there are other overall patterns out there. And so if I do get the urge to want to make myself a pair of overalls, I'll probably just buy a different pattern that's in my size. But I do like the design of this pattern. I love the razorback. I'll show you guys the line drawings, but the razorback in the back is really cute. I like the patch pockets. I love this bib pocket on the front. Again, it's pleated and it's just really cute. Um, but yeah, I don't see myself making this pattern again. I don't really have a need to make it again, to be honest with you. I think this one is a one and done. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. That's going to do it for this review. I tried to keep it short, sweet, and to the point. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know how I did. And yeah, and if you've ever made this pattern before, let me know how it turned out for you. I really do like the pattern. I like the pattern on Brandy, and I like how it turned out on my sister as well. But I probably won't be making this pattern for myself just because it's a lot of pieces. It's only one view on the envelope and you need all the pieces. So I guess I can tell you guys, I'm pretty sure it's 13 pieces altogether. Let me look really quick. Yeah, 13 pattern pieces and about 3.5 or 4 pages of instructions. So It's a pretty intricate pattern, but it is really cute. So if you are thinking of making this pattern, definitely give it a try. Don't let me deter you from making this pattern. But again, let me know what you guys think, and I will catch you guys in my next upload.